Hey guys, this is Rusty, and today I'm gonna show you how to build my new, universal, yet still quite fast, redstone shop that is N/M ratio, which means that you can completely customize the price and also the amount of payout items the shop will give, as well as having a ton of other awesome features. In this example, the shop is set to a 2:3 ratio, and if I try and throw in 2 diamonds, I will get 3 emerald blocks in return. You can also easily configure the type of payout and payment item. The shop is also smart, so if I throw in 6 diamonds and wait a bit, I will get 9 emerald blocks in return. So 3 from the previous transaction and 9 from now. And in the case of your shop running low on stock and the customer wanting to buy a lot of it, you can see that the shop will process most of the transactions until it isn't sure that they can process the entirety of the next one. So it will stop and leave the player with the ability to retrieve back their diamonds that it hasn't processed, as well as turning this indicator lamp off. And now for the tutorial, start by digging a 10x3 hole and extending that to be 4 blocks deep in total. Then go to the front and place 2 hoppers under each other facing to the side, and under that place a chest and a hopper facing into that is under the other hoppers. I'll move everything into the air for the sake of this tutorial so that you can better see what I'm actually doing. But let's continue by placing a redstone lamp that will be our stock indicator diagonally to the topmost hopper, and the output dropper on top of the lamp. Next up, place down a full block behind the middle hopper, and from that read with a comparator that is on top of another full block. Then put a redstone block next to the comparator, from which place 2 blocks going up, with the second one having to be a slab. And on top of those, place 2 redstone dust, going into a full block at the end. Continue by placing a full block next to the slab, a piston next to that, facing towards the back, and another full block under that. From the 2 solid blocks, go out with comparators, running towards the front into more solid blocks. Also a note that the upper comparator has to be on a full block, because next to it we will now place a redstone dust that will be used to power the piston. Next up we will place a redstone block in front of the piston and 2 pairs of hoppers facing into each other above and also below that redstone block. And after that, mirror everything onto the other side, so a full block with a piston on top and another full block, 2 comparators going from those into more blocks with the redstone dust in the middle. Then grab your powered rails and place 4 of them on top of the upper hoppers, and also the blocks next to them that are above the pistons. These will be later used to update the pistons, which we will butt power. For the next part, go to the front of the machine and under the comparator with the redstone block next to it, place a redstone dust, a button of any kind next to it to make it point towards the back, into a block with a redstone torch on the other side. In front of that, leave a 1 block gap, and then place a comparator reading from the hopper going into a block that again has a redstone torch on its side, this time facing towards the front of the machine. Now place 2 redstone dust running from the 2 torches into a block, from which go out with a repeater set to 2 ticks, in front of which we will place another solid block with redstone dust on top. Next up, read with a comparator from one of the hoppers the one that has the redstone block under it, off the upper pair of the hoppers, and have it running into a block with a torch on its side going towards the back. Above that, place a solid block, again with a redstone torch on its side, this time facing the other way. Now go to the back of the machine and place down a piece of redstone dust next to the block the upper comparator is facing into. A block next to that with a torch on its side facing towards the front. A full block above that torch. A top slab between the two of them. And another block above the block the torch is on. Then place redstone dust on top of all of these three now placed blocks. We will continue at the torch that is right now turned off by placing a full block above and in front of it, covering those with redstone dust and blocking the connection to the side with another solid block, and have a repeater going from the bottom one into another full block with two redstone dust in front of it, with the second one being on top of the block our first comparator is reading from. For the next part, go to the back again and place a target block so that it redirects the topmost redstone dust with a torch on its other side that has a block above it. Now we will make a comparator clock by placing down 3 blocks like this, then a top slab diagonal to those. This one actually has to be a slab, and 3 full blocks around it. And for the redstone components, place a comparator going from the block that has the torch below it. Set that to subtract mode by right-clicking on it once and turning the little light in the front on. A redstone dust on the other side of the block it is pointing into, then a repeater going into another redstone dust, completing the clock, and cut the connection right here with another full block. Now go back to the frontmost block of this clock, and from it run with a repeater going into a block, then another repeater going into another block that is next to the output dropper. And lastly, for the stock detection, place a full block next to the redstone lamp, a comparator on top of it reading from the output dropper. Set that one to subtract mode and have it running into a full block with redstone dust below it. And on the other side of the block we previously used to cut the wire, place down a torch and a block above it, making it power the redstone line. And the final thing for us to add is a redstone dust next to the subtracting comparator. Another comparator running into the redstone dust with a normal chest behind it. If you will be later covering the circuit up, make sure that you don't place a full block above this chest. Now to set up the ratio, go to the part with the pistons, place a lever next to the one that doesn't have the redstone block in front and power it for now. You can also do the same thing for the other one if the redstone block is on the other side. Now go to the bottom pair of hoppers and place in any stackable items equal to how much you want the customer to pay plus 1. So if I want the price to be 3 diamonds, I'll place in 4 items, and in the upper one do the same, but for the output. So if I want the payout to be 5, I'll place in 6. Now you can unpower the piston and remove the lever. The next thing to set up is this chest that we placed in last, and in there place however many items. The payout should be times 3. If you're selling unstackable items, use unstackable items in here. Then, to set up the item filter, go to the second hopper in front and in the second to fifth slot place any stackable items, and in the first one place a stack of your desired payment item. You should see the shop automatically calibrate, and in this chest you will later see the profits from your shop. And the last thing to do is to fill the output dropper with the item you are selling. After you do that, you should see the redstone lamp below turn on, and if need be you can of course expand this with a hopper and a chest above. And as you can see, the shop already works, so if I throw in 3 diamonds, I will get 5 emerald blocks in return. And in case you're building this on a server where you can't lock containers, you can just simply place a ladder on the face of the dropper to prevent players from reaching into it. And for a quick recap how to set up this machine, I have the right side view of the machine, so in the bottom hopper pair, put stackable items equal to your desired price plus 1. And in the upper pair, put however many items you want the shop to give out plus 1. And again use stackable items in there. Now for the left side, in the chest, put however many items you want the shop to give out times 3. And in here use stackable items if you're selling stackable items and non-stackable items if you're selling non-stackable. In the front, in the second hopper, put a stack of the item you want the player to pay with, and fill the rest of the slots with any non-stackable items. And then fill the dropper as much as you can with the items you're selling. And of course, this storage can be expanded further. And some final notes about the machine. It sadly does not work on Bedrock, because in that version you cannot butt power pistons. The next thing is to check whether the hoppers on the server you are playing on work properly. So try placing down a chain of hoppers and putting some items in the first one, and check whether they are flowing one by one and not clumping up. Next up, when building this machine and playing on a server that locks containers, check whether the hoppers in this build have the right permission to transfer items to each other. In case you're not sure, you can always type, for example, this command /chopper on and clicking on the hopper. But this command can sadly be different for different plugins the server might be using. And in case you're having any other problems with the machine, you can always try to contact me through the comment section or via email, but I think that most likely I won't be able to help you. And as a final note, I should also say that this shop cannot be set to a price higher than 63, and the payout cannot be set to more than 320, which equals 5 stacks. But that's about it for this video. I really hope you like the design. If you do, definitely leave a like and subscribe to my channel, as these videos take a long time to make. And see you next time!